So hey everyone, today I'm going to be doing a book review on the book of Every Line of You by Naomi Gibson. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but there's a spelling of the author's name. So this is like a really short read of a book. It's got a really cute cover. So I got this on a whim, so I didn't really know anything about it. I didn't know there was like a big kind of thing behind it. Yeah, so I just got this one out on a whim. So I'm going to read the back cover to you. So I didn't build Henry because I was able to. I built him because I was lonely. He was my distraction, my friend, someone to comfort me when I had bad dreams about my brother and my dad, someone to vent to about my mum. Now he's outstripped me and is capable of so much more. He can stretch his digital fingers, hurt people who have hurt me, offer a protection no one else could. But now there's a cybercrime unit watching our every move and asking questions about Henry that I can't answer. What is Henry? What have I created? What have I come to love? So I'm going to show you the back. So as I say, it's a really short read. So just because this is my second book review, and for those of you who don't know, I have a learning disability thing, so sometimes I find it hard to talk about stuff. So I've written my review down this time on a Word document just because I do English with Norfolk County Council. So I had kind of like a bit of homework to do, and I chose this book for it as well, just because I read this so recently. And even though I remember so much detail, I might not get it in order. So I'm going to read my 3-page essay of what I've written. And while you guys can admire and enjoy the cover, and yeah, just kind of listen to my thoughts, I guess. So when we talk about the characters, we have Lydia, Henry, the AI himself, mum and dad, so Lydia's little brother Henry. So the AI was named after Lydia's brother Henry. Emma, best friend, but is an ex-best friend just because she is a bully on one thing or another. Agent Hall, who works at SSP, which would be the crime watch unit that's watching their every move, along with Agent Dixon, who works at SSP as well, and the crush Peter, who Lydia goes to school with. As I say, this is a short read of a book for 284 pages. So I am literally going to read every word of it, every word of this essay, and hopefully it will tell you a bit about the book and give you enough to make a decision whether you want to read it yourself. I highly recommend you go and read this if you don't know a lot about AIs and stuff, or if you just generally love coding, malware, and technology, robots, anything science fiction like that. I highly recommend because I did not hate this book, and there wasn't a part of me that sat there while I was reading it thinking, should I take a break from this book or should I read something else? So I managed to read it pretty much in 3 days. And it was just a really enjoyable read. So I don't really have any faults with it myself. I give it 5 stars all the way. So let's start with my 3-page paperwork. Henry gives himself an upgrade without Lydia knowing that he has given himself an upgrade of 73%. He's capable of hacking banks, phones, stealing money, buying cars, luxury clothes, hotels, I should say. Henry upgrades himself to go into Lydia's phone so he's with Lydia while she's at school. Henry is able to keep Lydia company at school. While Lydia is at school, she is bullied by Emma, who used to be friends with her before the car accident which took Henry's life, which is Lydia's little brother. Since the crash, Emma has been bullying Lydia and making her school life a misery. But with Henry now seeing how Emma has been bullying Lydia, Henry doesn't like to see Lydia being upset or bullied. So Henry starts to get involved by hacking Emma's phone, going through everything, pictures, emails, etc. Okay. Lydia experiences a lot of flashbacks throughout her story of the car accident. And when I mean a lot, I mean a lot of the card games, the flashbacks to that day, the car accident, etc. Of the day of how she could have sat where Henry was sitting. Sorry. Lydia carries a lot of guilt of how it should have been her that died, not Henry. She feels that if it was her instead, her mother and her father would still be together and happy. She feels it's her fault when it's not. This results in Emma bullying her due to Emma having a scar on her arm after her mother's making her do pageants. Also, Emma having to look her best all the time. So when I say that with Emma, her mum wanted her to be perfect all the time, no scars, no battle wounds or anything like that. So for this, it results in Emma, instead of being there for Lydia, she bullies Emma instead and becomes a nightmare. And I must say, a total bitch. After Henry and Lydia done a hack the previous night before school, they hack into a bank that is meant to have top security. The next day, an IBI agent, Mr. Hall, visits the school to give a presentation on IBI, which is a bank. I can't remember the full name of it, as Lydia is on edge from the night before with them both doing a hack. After school, Pete invites Lydia back to his. He is also into programming malware codes. Lydia accepts the invitation to help Pete with some malware. With Lydia doing this, Pete admits how he feels about Lydia, that he has a crush on her. But Lydia does not feel the same way about him. After Pete forces himself onto her and doesn't take no for an answer, Henry makes Pete computer spark so Lydia is able to get away. So Pete is very, very persistent towards Lydia, because obviously she doesn't feel the same way about him. She doesn't have a crush on him or anything. So this again involves Henry sparking the computer and making all the lights go out so Lydia can get away safely and escape. Emma says terrible things about Lydia's brother, which results in Lydia having a fight with Emma, which results in Lydia being excluded, I believe. There's a different term for it because I believe this was kind of written from kind of US schools. I could be wrong, but it's just how I feel about it. A fight with Emma with no one hearing what Emma says about Lydia's brother. Lydia is then excluded from school as Henry knows this is wrong, with him and Lydia breaking into Emma's house to find leverage to use on Emma after all the bullying and the fight. Henry finds nudes pictures of Emma. Henry also finds that Emma's father has more money coming in than going out, which they later find out that Emma's father has been conning people out of their pensions, which will later result in Emma calling Lydia at the mental hospital for information, which Lydia tells Emma what her father did and where to find him. With Henry convincing Lydia to upgrade in Lydia's arms so Henry can be with her all the time and control her sometimes. That's by doing her makeup. There was a couple of other things he did as well, but I can't remember off the top of my head. She's not too keen about it at first, but decides to follow through with it. With Henry in Lydia's arm, he gives her sensation of hug kisses company, which Lydia likes. So she has Henry with her 24/7, and she has him in her arm, and he feels like a complete person there, so she's not lonely and sad. It's the night of Emma's birthday party, but with Henry and Lydia plan to ruin her birthday by showing the nude pictures to everyone, with Emma admitting to Lydia that she is sorry for all the bullying. Lydia decides not to go through with the plan. Meanwhile, Henry and Lydia plan to take Pete's body so Henry can use it to be a person and be with Lydia, but as Lydia has cut Pete, so this was in like his back, I think, and that's how Pete became like disabled. and made him disabled. The download fails after the SSP catch them both. Pete has surgery to remove the chip, but unfortunately he is still disabled. And if I remember correctly, I don't remember anything being mentioned about whether it was permanent or whether he was able to walk in the end. So Lydia is arrested for false imprisonment for her mother by keeping her locked in her car, which is obviously what Henry did, was controlling technology and locking Lydia's mum in the car. Since Lydia refuses to give up the AI, aka Henry, Mr. Hall puts her in a mental hospital. In time, Lydia gets a knife from another patient, which will later be used to put Henry into Mr. Hall as one final shot to get Henry back, which works, and Henry comes to rescue Lydia out of the hospital. After they escape, they are both all over the news, but Henry has hacked into every system. He buys a luxury hotel and clothes for Lydia, also to have her hair done. With the SSP finally catches up with them, they take them both back to base, where Henry is infected with a virus where this will kill both Mr. Hall and Henry. So when I say that, after literally Henry breaks Lydia out of the mental hospital and it gets to the point where they've both been caught, and yeah, so he kind of gets a virus. Henry will give a heart attack to Mr. Hall after he tried to kill Lydia for the second time. Mr. Hall tried to kill Lydia before that, I believe when they were sleeping, because obviously Henry and Lydia slept together while Henry was in Mr. Hall's body, etc. Yeah, with Lydia taken back to the hospital after both deaths, Mr. Dixon's arrived to offer Lydia a chance to work with the SSP, where she will later bring Henry back. And then on my kind of essay, I just did kind of like a picture. Yeah, so as I say, it was a really good read. There was more information. I mean, obviously, I didn't go into a great amount of detail of the when Lydia was admitted into the mental hospital, and when Henry broke Lydia out, and kind of there's kind of quite a lot of details I kind of missed out because as I was reading this, I was putting the notes into my phone, and then what I remembered from my notes, I was then putting into the computer to kind of write my essay for it. I highly recommend this book. I don't really have any faults with it. I loved the read. I enjoyed it. It will go in my keep pile because obviously as I reviewed it as well. So if you generally want to know more about this book, yeah, I highly recommend. It does say on the back of the book, try it, read page 61. But it is available at most bookstores. I'm not sure whether the US got the same cover or a different cover to us, but I haven't seen the US edition, so I'm not sure. But this is the UK British edition, and it's £7.99 over here for us. And it's done by Chicken House, who printed it. So yeah, I highly recommend this read if you're into technology or anything like that, or malware or coding. It's definitely made me look at technology a bit different, because this is going off the scenario of if an AI had too much intelligence, and how wrong it can go. So it's definitely made me look at technology in a different way. It's definitely made me open my eyes a bit more, but it was a really, really good read and I really enjoyed it. And thank you guys so much for watching my book review and listening to me for nearly 15 minutes. I really appreciate it. Any likes or anything you can give, or you want to add your comments down to the bottom, or discuss anything about the book in the comments, I'm more than welcome for you to do that. But I just want to say thank you very much for your time, for watching my second book review, and hopefully as time goes on I'll get a lot more confident to talk about books and not have, because it is my passion with reading along with doing ASMR, you know, without having to have bits of paper and anything. So any support that you guys put towards my channel for this. Thank you so, so much, and I love you guys with all my heart. And as I say, I highly recommend you get yourself a copy of the book, and take